with my comics and my misfits. Too much shit.
Man,
Lounging with my
we
comics and my
are
misfits.
live.
What up, Misfit? This is your host, Nick Wiggins.
And your tech guy, Dave. Okay, here we go. Falcon the Winter Soldier, episode 2. Now, this is a spoiler alert. Check down below. So if you haven't watched it, go ahead, exit, come back later after you watched it, so you can get the review. Take it away, Nick.
I got mixed feelings with episode 2. It was good scenes, and it had some okay scenes, but they need to work on.
All right, so episode 2 picked up where episode 1 left off with John F. Walker.
All right, the episode started with him being back in his old high school and being introduced in Good Morning America by the host, Sarah Haynes. And we're going to see what he does as the new Captain America.
All right, Bucky and Sam. All right, they're back together again.
Yeah, but this time it doesn't seem like they're in good terms because of what Sam did with the shield. So, and right now, Sam is on an important mission, and Bucky just came along.
Yeah, Bucky said, I'm going with you. So, this was a powerful scene here. Still introspective, but what is Bucky thinking about?
I think Bucky is thinking about, one, what is this mission about? And two, why did you give the shield away to the government knowing that those shields should belong to you?
So this was followed up by a little humor, and then we're on to the first fight scene.
To be honest with you, I thought this was an okay scene. The fight scene started out versus the 8 super soldiers, and then the twist of it is the new Captain America showed up with his sidekick or ally, Battlestar, which sort of made the scene a little bit better, but still it was okay.
I agree. This scene really seemed rushed. They had a difficult time with all the motion and trying to make that work with the CGI. That scene ended okay, but I kind of expected a lot better based on what we've seen from the MCU before.
Yeah, but you still got to remember this is a television show, not a movie. But I do honestly understand what you mean, that this is by Marvel Studios, and Marvel Studios should have done better. But I did appreciate one thing about that battle scene was the humor in it.
So after this scene ends, Sam and Bucky are walking, and here comes Captain America and the sidekick are on the Jeep headed back.
That scene was kind of awkward. It just felt like it was awkward because they didn't expect to see each other so soon. And then when you look at the new Captain America, John F. Walker's talking to both of them, it just felt like he was trying to be like, oh, I'm not trying to be like Steve Rogers. I'm trying to be the best Captain America I could be. He said something wrong that really took both of them out.
This dialogue actually worked well coming off of that fight scene with Captain America showing up, because Bucky and Sam were not just outnumbered. Come to find out, all of the enemies that they were fighting turned out to be super soldiers.
Yeah, I mean, like, there has been some. The one that the flag smashers they have, I think that's going to be I think that is the serum that John F. Walker does have from the comic books.
Now, do you think we will see John F. Walker getting the super soldier
I believe
serum?
so. I believe that both John Walker and Battlestar get the serum.
Okay, so this scene ends with a dramatic close.
It kind of ticked him off because this is something that he and Steve did back in the 40s. They were partners. They did stuff together, and it felt right seeing a new Captain America and somebody who's new.
Bucky and Sam, they both got off. Then we get another plot twist. There's somebody that Bucky needs Sam to meet. All right, so they go knock on the door. Sam doesn't really know what to expect, and then what?
And then a young man appears, and he says, "You're not welcome here." And then all of a sudden, Elijah Richardson, who's playing Elijah Bradley. Now, for most people who knows this character from the comic books, they know him as Young Patriot, and he is he's a big important character for probably going to be another important character for future MCU.
Okay, so they get in the house, and what is revealed?
That his grandfather, who is played by Carl Lumley, who is Isaiah Bradley, he used to be a super soldier after Steve Rogers.
All right, so right here, episode 2 comes with another layer parallel to what we saw in episode 1. What was revealed here that affected Sam?
Well, it is revealed that there was another super soldier program, and there was another super soldier after Steve Rogers where he was frozen. And it was revealed that Isaiah Bradley, who was being played by Carl Lumley, that he was the new Captain America of the late 40s and early 50s.
Okay, so he and Bucky have encountered each other in the past.
Yeah, because when Bucky was the Winter Soldier, he was very dangerous, and the government sent Isaiah to go against him behind enemy lines, and Isaiah won the fight, but didn't kill the Winter Soldier.
All right, there's some powerful dialogue in here, and this character really paints a picture, and it really hits Sam a different way.
Yeah, because the way he talked about how the government locked him up for 30 years, and then when he said to Bucky that your people also was involved with this, it kind of hit home. And then when you also realize what you mean, your people, he meant Hydra, because Hydra was probably using his blood to make more super soldiers.
Yes, that was powerful, and the directing was spot on here because you had 3 layers. You had him and Bucky, Sam in the background watching the interaction between these two and just taking it all in.
Yeah, I believe that after watching these 2 episodes, I think directors, I think a strong suit is when it comes to the dramatization or when the characters are talking to each other. I think that's a strong suit when it comes to this series right now.
Yes, very well played directing and acting here. Just when, we thought, wow, okay, they're really addressing some issues here. Sam and Bucky leave the house, and what happens?
What happened was they were having an argument, and the police showed up. They thought there was trouble. They were going to arrest Sam, but then James had to say, hey, do you know who this guy is? The officers, they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Sam Wilson. Can you please say my problem? Like, Sam was looking like this is the same old story that we've seen over and over again. And then turn around, James had to go to jail because he missed his therapy session of his parole, and he had to go to jail.
Yes, and I would like to see that play out. It played out a little bit in the therapy session. What I think it alludes to is that Bucky being arrested for violating his parole. I think the tie-in is he missed therapy to go on that mission with Falcon.
I do agree. I think this was his own way of therapy, because rule number 2 was don't hurt anybody. But he wound up hurting some people. Well, sort of.
Yeah. Yes, and it seems like he really needed answers after seeing John F. Walker on screen getting the shield. He had to go and see for himself and hear for himself why Sam would give that up. And it was revealed there and in therapy, that's his only tie to Captain America. He gave you that shield, and giving that shield away is like...
I think his exact lines were, that means that if he gave you that shield, that means he's wrong. Then what about me? Is he wrong about me?
Exactly. So, we talked about that shield and that symbolism, but Bucky is really embodying that and really not having a place to go or a place to fit in. That was powerful because they're in the house, then they go outside, they're having a disagreement. Somebody has called the cops. The cops show up. Sam gets, the mistreatment that we see far too often. Bucky intervenes. One cop gets it, the other one doesn't. So just imagine what could have happened if neither of those cops got it. But here again, right back to the directing, doing such a wonderful job with the camera angles. One cop leans over and whispers to the other. Then that cop's like, oh, yeah. And his whole demeanor changes.
It goes back to the old, it's a normal day for us because we see this in America, or we see this in real life a lot. And you don't come across seeing that a hero that you never thought that a superhero like Sam and Bucky will have to go through that stuff. But obviously, they're bringing reality to these superheroes, and just like we talked about in our last podcast, we're talking about the struggles of being a hero, or the struggles of being a veteran, or the struggles of being an African American.
Yes, and it was poignant what you said about, our veterans and being in uniform and coming home, because the same thing happens here with Sam, because after the cop whispers to his partner, then he says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you without the goggles. So without that uniform, he's just another black man in America.
Correct.
Okay, so then we roll on to the end of episode 1, and some more is revealed about this underground organization, the Flag Smashers. So what's their motive?
Oh, the Flag Smashers is run by the leader. They have a leader named Karli. Their beliefs are that there should be no borders and everything should be one nation. And they feel like it was better during the blip, when everybody was gone, there was almost no rules. But since everybody came back, that's why this terrorist group wants to try to get all the nations to understand what happened, and it should be the way it was.
Yes, hats off again to the head writer here, because it was very timely when they mentioned the blip, and here, flashbacks to Infinity War and Endgame, because they said, well, they paid more attention to the people that came back than the people that were struggling while they were gone.
Yeah, because there was a thing that how everybody felt, because the people, they either lost people that they love, or the people who return, they don't know if their loved ones are still alive or they disappear themselves. I think the terrorist group, the Flag Smashers, they said, no, we like the things that they were during the blip, and we like to keep it that way.
Now, once they get to their hideout, Karli gets a text.
Yeah, she gets a text from the Power Broker. In the comic books, he's a super villain who created that serum that they used to become super soldiers. And I think, in my honest opinion, or we're going to see it during episode 3 or episode 4, I think they stole the super soldier serum. Either he wants the serums back, or he wants to, he tells them that you owe me, or I'm going to take y'all guys down myself.
Karli seems to be very worried here, which means this must be a very powerful person, judging by her ability to fight. She was taking people out in that first fight scene. So
I think that she probably thought that the Power Broker sent Sam and Bucky to chase them. That might be the idea of why she did what she did. There might be a chance that Power Broker is part of the government.
And episode 2 ends with a bang. There's the man with the plan.
After both Sam and Bucky were released from jail, and they had this little confrontation with John F. Walker, they started thinking about where the Flag Smashers are getting the super soldier serum, because they feel like Helmut Zemo knows more than he's led up to be. Yeah, I think that during this whole process, when Helmut Zemo was when he read that journal, that Winter Soldier's journal, I think it led to more super soldier serum. So either Helmut Zemo told somebody else about where to find these serums or where to find these soldiers, or the Power Broker already probably knew about it. He's part of Hydra, but Zemo was like, okay, if there's plan A doesn't work, I have to use plan B. So he probably knows where all the rest of them are at, but he's just not going to tell nobody until there's a reason.
What